for them. All right. I put out the tweet, let the word out that we're gonna get fired up.
I will share the tweet. Nice. I like your designs.
Oh, thank you. That doll maker helps me get my stuff done really quick. And everybody's like, "Oh, did you do that?" Yeah, I put them together.
I don't understand that. Like, I know you just tweeted it up, but didn't pop up on there, so I know at this point.
Good for you.
Don't matter, I suppose. I give it another.
I don't think it counts me as a viewer for some reason.
Probably because you're not.
Yeah. But yeah, I know people are like, "Oh, did you draw that?" Hopefully, I'll be able to digitally continue to draw out.
See, we got 3 people.
Hopefully, I'll be able to digitally draw out. I just wanted to get the base core concepts put together because I can see them in my head, and it's nice to get them done that way.
Mhm.
That I can digitally re-render them.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to the Genxcynics cast. I'm one of your hosts, Kalari GXE, and
I Axiom Wolf.
yeah, we had a
Look, I didn't do anything silly that time.
Thanks. Wow, y'all. It was a good week. We actually took a break on Friday night from the Bonnet Chronicles because I wanted to get some rest. I got my first COVID shot along with my son, so we took some time to just heal up because I've
You
been.
shot your son?
No, stop it. COVID vaccinations.
I know what you meant.
Anyhow, had a bit of joint stiffness and stuff, but nothing bad. So
You don't smoke pot.
why are you doing this?
I don't know.
Stop.
I have an audience now.
Anyhow, anyway, took Friday off so that we could enjoy talking about fantasy. And the reason why I was inspired to bring this topic up was a great thread by my friend Lauren, who brought up how fantasy is really one-sided when it comes to portraying black women. Always a tough sidekick or more masculine than feminine. And she brought up the fact that even in fairy tales, our princesses aren't treated as those that need rescuing or saving. And we've been watching. I've been
That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
yeah, and seeing how the women in that storyline vary, but once again, you're not going to see characters or little girls that look like me in there. So I started coming up with an idea since the whole isekai slash separate world or video game world storyline is really popular now. What if we could put together a story where a young black girl goes through the motions of that, but uses our own mythology? Because a lot of people don't understand that African, especially African culture throughout the continent, has a whole bunch of mythology. You think the Norse and the Greek gods have their tricksters or schemers or warriors or whatnot? African gods have that too, in abundance. We also have native gods as well that we can tap into. So I'm really excited to get that started. But it got me thinking about having a deeper conversation about representation in fantasy because it's still not where it should be.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of people that, while they mean well, they input things from a lack of understanding. You know, one of Lauren's points last night was there's a real push, especially amongst white women, to have it where princesses are their own heroes. They get their own back. They have their own strength. They're not rescued anymore, which is fine because most of the stories have been geared to women like you. And yeah, after years being told, oh, you're helpless, you gotta wait for a prince to help you out, yeah, that could get old. So you have plenty of amazing writers who can write you a strong princess if you wanted it to. Little girls like me didn't have that growing up. Every time we seen a black character who wasn't the help or who wasn't trouble, she had to work and be her own pillar. There was no rescuing for her. She wasn't treated frail or any of that by her prince. In fact, our current princess, Tiana, had to save her prince. And our other princess, Shuri, had to basically save her own kingdom. I am not against the strong women archetype. I just say that it gets tiring after a while when you only see that and you don't get the same treatment that other cultures get in regards to their royals and female characters. And I just want to show that, especially for black nerds, we have the ability to be main characters in our own way. And I think that's what fantasy is currently lacking. And it's not just for black women. I feel like diversity is lacking in a lot of areas, but I'm very careful in my lane with things. I can write a story, but if I don't have firsthand knowledge, I'm still doing it with an outsider's perspective. So I've got to be mindful of that. And while I do hopefully plan to integrate different backgrounds and different characters, this is going to be a completely black centric story. And one of the things I was telling Axiom is this lady who I knew she meant well. That's why I didn't get mad at her. I just responded as politely as I could, suggested stuff like, oh, you need a white villain in your story. No, no, we don't. There's enough stuff in African culture, both good, bad, and in between, without having to involve anybody who isn't from the continent. And even then, because there are white Africans, if I want to incorporate them, I can, but more than likely I'm not, because there are plenty of pieces of literature out there with Eurocentric features. I want to highlight black culture. And I know by doing that, I'm going to have people who have an issue with it. That's your problem. It's not my burden to bear. I want to write stories that kids feel represented who haven't had that representation, who are just finally starting to see that representation, and we need to keep it going. I'm tired of seeing movies trickle out every few years that embrace cultures that aren't the standard. So the only way we're gonna make a change in that is to write it ourselves and not just depend on hopefully somebody getting through the wall of Hollywood to do it. And I don't want to take up the whole
No,
conversation
no,
on
no.
it, but
You're doing fine. It's just something that you need to talk about. You have to. I don't. I
yeah,
can't speak from your perspective.
I know
That's the
it's just,
problem.
and that's the thing. It just felt like when we had that thread last night, so many black women, especially, weighed in, and we were like, finally, this is a conversation that we've wanted to have, but we couldn't because we're constantly being shouted down by people. Well, princes should have their own back. We envy you, and it's like, why?
it. Well, that's the whole thing. Like, I get the what the argument they're trying to make is you get the story of the hero saves the princess and then the princess of like that's all she does. She's just there to be rescued. I get they're tired of that thing, and then you guys have the where well we always have to do it for ourselves, which is kind of what they want. It's like you kind of want what the other side's got because you've only got what you're getting.
Yeah,
I was like, so you make it even. It's like, yeah, that's nice that they've shown that uh, black women can be strong, independent, can go out and be forceful and forge their own destiny. But it would be nice to see the opposite of having somebody be like, hey, you know what? I got your back so that you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's if you give both sides both things, then you have something for each person that wants that particular type of story.
Exactly.
And right now, you guys don't have the other side of it.
And with fantasy, especially, black femininity is still often ignored, which, I get it. I am a tomboy. Don't hide that. I'm more comfortable in jeans and a t shirt than I ever was in a dress. A few times I've worn a dress, it has been an uncomfortable experience, hilariously so. There are some dresses I can wear, but I'm just not my bag. And he's laughing because he
I,
remembers one.
I remember the first date. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of funny.
I tried to get dressed up.
Are you uncomfortable? Yeah. Why are you uncomfortable? I told you to wear comfortable things. I wanted to be pretty. I was like, you are pretty. You don't have to dress up to be. I wanted you to be comfortable so that you would have fun on our date.
But that's the thing. With women like me, it's very rare unless we seek
And
that.
not that kind of fun. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm a gentleman.
Unless we're seeking that kind of career like modeling or fashion, most black women are either viewed as matronly or sporty or like in the fantasy settings, tough and warrior like. So every once in a while, it's nice to feel feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I even have two or three dresses. I don't wear them much. Yeah, but every once in a while.
But I'm always the thing of wear what you're comfortable with. Unless you have to, unless the situation calls for a dress up situation, like if I was going in for a job interview, I'm putting on the best button down shirt I've got. I'm putting on a nice clean pair of pants. If they're jeans, but as long as it's presentable, you know, you go in with that.
Yeah.
I was like,
but I think there's another side to most women too. Like I told you, once we are like published and making that kind of residuals where I can put away, I'm getting my custom mood gown made.
I know that is going to be one of the first major purchases that I have already agreed to. That you can have your mood gown, but I am not going to what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm not going to be understanding if you get ice cream on it.
Sometimes I'm not only gonna wear it for sad moods. Sometimes you just want to wear something that's flowy and silky and pretty. And I'm not joking.
You gotta read the mood, guys. You can't just walk in and be like, "Oh God, she's sad. I'm out." No, just read the mood. If she's walking around, she's happy. It's like you're good. Just keep on trucking.
You see me spinning around in it and stuff. Yeah, she's in a good mood.
Like, what are you doing? Oh, I just wanted to be pretty. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go play a video game now. Bye.
I mean, we came from, well, and I say we with a grain of salt. Historically speaking, women's fashion used to be gowns. Mm-hmm. So it's nothing to have somebody bring back mood gowns. And I don't just mean it because of stupid shit like the Met Gala.
I would actually like to see mood gowns, like they change on the base of the color, because then you would know.
That would be hilarious.
It's like, oh, that dress is mauve. Oh wait, black. Never mind.
You're so crazy.
What was the black on the mood rings? Does anybody remember mood rings? Those were like a big thing back in the day.
I thought it was just like neutral. I never knew what all the different ones.
Well, they come with that little card that used to tell you the what red meant, and I'm pretty sure red was love. And the thing was they never worked. It's just based on body heat. You could get it to turn whatever color you really wanted to if you could match the temperature, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they make those anymore.
No, I'm
gonna Google that while you.
It's worth a Google. But yeah, it's
worth
like
the Google.
One of the things
I bet you she'd laugh if I just did that face. I wouldn't even have to say anything.
Oh my goodness, you're the best. What I feel is fun about wanting gowns like that, and just one, honestly, along with the tiara. I had the toy birthday tiara for my birthday, but I really am going to get a tiara from that site that my friend Jen linked me because, oh my gosh, so many beautiful tiaras.
They still make them.
Oh, wow.
100%. They got ones that the whole band changes. They got the ones that are kind of like the normal ones.
Looks like a princess cut, yeah.
And everything like that. So they still make those.
Wow.
That's kind of cool. I like that. I like that some things don't go away.
But I think a lot of women, especially women my age and older, Gen Xers, we are, in betweeners. We don't gravitate towards the typical gender norms, but there are certain things about our gender that we like. One of my favorite fantasies is Sailor Moon because of the mythology that they pulled upon with the planetary mythology, Japanese mythology. So stuff like that always pulled me in. So when I say mood gown, you better start thinking the Princess Serenity gown because I want something in that vein because it's just always been pretty and flowy but simple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need anything too out there. I know that there are some gowns that are like, oh, we'll have diamond bodices and stuff. And I
Yeah,
mean,
I understand that.
one of the things that we came up with when we were creating Meitushi and Kahira, our elven duo of destruction, as we like to call them. Kahira, when she has to wear her noble garb, she has one of those fancy, like almost, I like to call them contraption gowns.
Frilly but effective.
Yeah. Because not only is it durable, but you can't conceal weapons in it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of gown, while it interests me, I would probably never wear them because those things, they look like they would be heavy and cumbersome and not a lot of fun. But when we were creating the idea for the character, I thought that would be the kind of gown she would wear to a formal event.
Right.
And that's just the things that you think about in fantasy that you hope that writers are putting out there when they develop these worlds.
Right. And you wanted to talk about the movie remake and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Okay, yeah.
there's so much going
They
on.
keep remaking old movie, and they're not even really old movies. They're from like the '90s,
Yeah.
like late '80s, early '90s, and stuff. And they keep remaking them, and it's like you have a plethora of people out there, people that have creative ideas, people that have ideas that are unique,
Yeah.
and you're choosing to rehash an idea that you've already done because it it made money then, so it should make money now.
One of them is The Bodyguard, and I'm sorry,
That doesn't need a remake.
one of our favorites. We've actually, because we write out role play scenarios sometimes, just to keep our writing chops going. And one of our favorites is to think of a scenario where there's a bodyguard and either a singer or a bodyguard and an
It's
actress.
a great way to get the if you're meaning to write something but you're not sure how you want it to go, it's a great way to just create some characters, give it a story, something you may not even intend on writing out, and just flush out a story with those characters.
Yeah.
And you will, if you're in a writer's block or if you're in something that's stopping you from getting where you want to go, it really helps you just let your mind create and flow so that you can actually get past that. And you may even come up with a story you didn't know you had in you.
Exactly.
And that's the great thing about it. A lot of the stories that we've come up with was just like, hey, I had an idea that I thought would be kind of fun. What if we had this situation? And it's like that much of the story.
Yep.
And we've actually turned it into a full length story now. We're just working on, we want to get our first story done before we start writing out other stories. But it's fun thinking of
when you said done published, our first sci-fi novel is actually fully
written. It's we're working on the actual getting it on paper part of it. But like once that takes off, that's going to lead to other stories taking off and other stories taking off and stuff like that. It'll kind of give us a incentive to focus on that.
Yeah, but with the bodyguard, what point was made in that thread last night about that too, and why so many women were getting upset by it is it was the first time we got to see a black character be protected, be sheltered, be chased, and treated like somebody that needed that. She didn't have her own back in that movie.
Yeah.
And it was Whitney Houston who is a freaking icon.
Yeah.
Rest her soul, one of the best singers we'll have in our lifetime. She was just an all-around talent, and we tragically lost her a few years back. And for somebody to just step into that role, I don't see how they could make that magic happen again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think they're thinking, hey, we'll do another one of these movies, and they might want to use the title for it. Don't just come up with a different,
Yeah.
like the protector or the defender. Or give it something else because all it's gonna do is it's gonna
It's gonna
make it look
bring
like you're trying
comparison.
to redo that movie.
And unlike with A Star Is Born, there is yet to be anybody new, and this is no shading any of the current singers out there because we have some really brilliant musicians that are female, but they're not at Whitney Houston's level. And she was a phenom. She did the role herself. She didn't need another actress to act it out and do the singing. She did both.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see them casting somebody that can fill those shoes. I love Beyonce, but the few times she did acting in the role, nah.
Yeah.
She's a great entertainer, great dancer, great singer. I don't want to see her act.
You know what's funny is like we get the idea of remakes come up so often. Like a couple years ago, they wanted to remake The Princess Bride, and I thought it was great because the entire community, not just the geek community, the entire community as a whole rose up and said, "Don't you dare!"
Yeah, because there's no reason. That movie is perfect.
That movie is don't touch it. Don't do anything to it. You want to go in and clean up the graphics for like a 4K release or something?
Yeah.
That's fine. That movie does not need to be messed with. It does not need to be redone. It does not need to have a sequel, even though I think there is a sequel in the books for it.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't let the guy that originally edited the book for the movie edit the sequel to it, which is kind of weird. But it's like
politics in Hollywood is weird.
Yeah, so yeah, it doesn't need anything done to it. Don't touch it, don't remake it, don't do nothing. It holds up.
Yeah.
And that's one of those movies that is always gonna hold up no matter how
older it looks,
how old it gets, or how or what changes in technology.
The actors and actresses alone in it, it was magic.
Yeah.
It was magic on the screen, and I just can't even imagine them trying to replace the majority of those characters. Mandy Patinkin, Andre the Giant, Carrie Ewells. No, they just need to leave that.
They just need to don't touch it, don't do anything to it. You caught lightning in the bottle, you try to catch lightning in the bottle again, it becomes less special. And it reflects
the bottles explode.
Yeah, and it reflects negatively on the original. If you try to remake something and you do it poorly, the previous thing goes down.
And even movies that weren't like super blockbusters. I like The Lost Boys. I watched that when I was younger. Kiefer Sutherland as a vampire freaked me out. I loved the story. I don't understand what the need to remake it is. There are plenty of vampire stories out there. Plenty of vampire animes that could be made in live action, even though I'm kind of on the fence about live action animes because they still don't get them right.
Yeah.
I would much rather see them try to do that with like maybe a Hellsing anime or something just that's already out there massively than to redo The Lost Boys for what? You're not going to get that cheese that the 80s brought to it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as endearing as it was without the Coreys. I just don't understand the fascination with remakes right now.
Yeah.
Because if they start with these two,
it's gonna branch off.
It's gonna, and they're gonna keep it up. Next, we'll see Lethal Weapon redone.
Yeah.
Well,
they already did that.
They did.
They did that. They did a TV series with.
But it's not the same as a new movie series.
No. But they used Martin and Riggs, and they gave it a whole new story. And it wasn't bad by any means of the word on there.
I'll take your word for
it. But it wasn't the same thing, you know. And then like they switched the spoiler if you haven't seen it. They actually killed Riggs off and replaced him with somebody else because of some issue. I can't remember what the politics of it was, but they killed the character off instead of just recasting the character. And I thought that was a mistake. I was like, just recast the character.
Yeah.
Just recast the character and joke about it. Make a joke about, gee, ever since you got shot, you really look different. You have a new outlook on life and stuff, and then just roll with it that way because I like that in Lethal Weapon, that just him being around his family, being around, I'm blanking on Danny Glover's name.
Riggs and Murtaugh.
Yeah. Being around Murtaugh's family, like, changed his whole outlook on life, and he didn't end up getting killed or killing himself or anything like that. And it was like the series kind of just took that away from you.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't care for that.
Yeah.
But
that's just, it feels like people want to try to play it safe right now, and I can't help but feel like with all the calls for diversity and with them seeing how popular diverse movies are becoming, they're grabbing on to some of these older titles as a safe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you don't need to do that. Instead of wasting millions of dollars on a directorial remake of somebody else's work, you could be hiring independent creators to put out new ideas that will speak to Black, POC, LGBT, and white people. There are plenty of white people that still don't feel seen in movies and stuff because
I
not
know,
all of us are.
because I'm not famous.
That's true, but not all of us come from the same cloth. And even geeky guys aren't really portrayed fairly. It's always, oh shucks, we just want to chase after the girl until we make her love us. And it's always a girl. And you can start that. It's always a girl that is either really shallow, self-centered, or isn't even one that they're always looking at either. So it kind of gets annoying when you watch like TV shows and movies where the geeky guy is chasing after this girl that you know isn't going to really give them the time of day, when most geek guys just want to find a geeky girl that you could talk comics and shop with.
Yeah, do you guys realize how like even like when we started dating and she moved up here? Do you realize like I would go, I would do the grocery shopping because was it Walmart had they have that at the time?
The pickup, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Cal would do the grocery pickup. I would pick it up at the store that I lived by, and then bring it down. It was the easier, faster way of getting it than coming down, picking her up, taking her to the store, doing the shopping. Because we did that for a little bit before they got the grocery pickup.
Yeah.
But then we'd get the groceries unloaded. We would sit at the kitchen table and talk geek stuff for hours until I would go, well, oh, crap, I've been here for 4 or 5 hours. I got to get going, or it's going to be dark by the time I get home. You know, it's like that's all you wanted. That's all I wanted as a young man and even a kid is like I wanted someone that I could sit down, talk to, and feel comfortable with, and have not have to put that faults me up that I let everybody else see. The person that people got to see at work or at school, or and when I went out and talked to people that didn't know how geeky I really was. I mean, let's be fair, I was always kind of geeky. I wore that on my sleeve, but they don't get the level of you pull back on there when I have just been unapologetically nerdy. I can make. We were sitting here last night, or was it last night or the night before? It was the night before because we've stretched this. I got reincarnated as a slime thing out to about 3 nights that we've been watching it now.
Yeah, and we're still not even through
And
most of season
yeah,
two.
yeah, we're still not through most of it, but we're kind of taking our time with it. We watched like
All of
5 to 6
one.
episodes,
Yeah.
and then we're like, okay, let's stop there because we had a good spot.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there watching it, and the main character is trying to teach these kids, and I had a thought, and I was just getting ready to do the joke of that little South Park Cartman guy. How do I reach these kids? And I literally leaned up to do the joke, and I looked over, and she did it. She beat me to my own joke. Like if I'd just 50 seconds earlier, I could have gotten the punchline in, but she beat me to it. And I was like, that's the kind of person you need to be with, and you need to work with. It's like you don't look for that. Oh, fixate on that one girl that's unobtainable and stuff. It might be her. She might be just as geeky as what you are, but she hides it. And it's like, just be honest with yourselves.
Yeah. That's the one thing if I regret in high school is a lot of my friends, a lot of people close to me, unless they lived with me, didn't know how geeky I was.
Yeah.
I had the 10 high school face and then my home face.
Yeah. Well, see, I would like to see, because you get all these things in like TV and comics and stuff where it shows the geeky kid who wants to go out with like the cheerleader type, and like he has the nerdy friend that kind of likes him, but he's Google eyes over the other person, and it's just like I would love to see one time him actually get it without having to take the obligatory heart punch from her not returning the thing or it just being a cruel joke.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'm the only one that went through that in school, where you had the girl come up to you and ask you to go out, but it was just them having a joke with their friends.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, isn't that horrible to do to somebody?
Yeah.
You walk up to somebody who's shy, doesn't have a lot of self confidence, and you ask them out just so you can put them in an awkward spot so that you can have a laugh with your friends. That is a horrible thing to do to somebody.
High school 10 would have beat that bit half up for you. I'm not even joking.
Well,
I
luckily,
don't like bullies.
luckily it wasn't high school. It was like not young school, more middle.
Oh,
Almost to high school. But I think maybe like a year or two off.
okay.
But girls mature faster than boys anyway, so it
But
might as well have been a
still,
high schooler. But that's the whole thing. Is like I would love to see that kind of thing happen, that scenario happen where it's like, hey, do you want to go out with me? Sometimes like, no, I'm gonna go out with my friend. We're gonna go get some pizza, read some comic books. What's
I
wrong
mean,
with that? What's wrong with an actual true to life like geeky people fall in love with geeky people?
yeah. Like that's why I love Boulder Tokyo or Love is Hard for an Otaku because it felt like I was seeing a couple that kind of mirrors us. Best friends for a long time before we started dating, but she had to hide her geekiness from old boyfriends, other friends. Definitely didn't bring any of my geekiness to work with me.
And you don't really hide your geekiness.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Look at the wall.
past
Sorry, I'll
10.
stop.
But anyhow, what I liked about it was two friends that started dating, but they both have their own levels of geekiness. She was more into anime and manga, and he is in the video games. And I was like, we met in the video game, and there was a lot of references like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, just things that couples like us do. They play in a RPG game together, and I was like, this is what I'm talking about. I would love to see more couples like that on the screen, especially on TV shows. It's just more realistic. For every couple you have, like Penny and Homeboy Leonard, there are more couples like us out there, and we'd love to see ourselves and be represented in a positive light because we actually talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I tell people all the time why our relationship has worked out for as long as it has. It's because we can talk to each other. We can verbalize, and then there are times where we just want to be around each other. And I think when you feel that comfortable with somebody, you enjoy your relationship a lot more. I don't have to hide anything from Greg, and it's the same with him for me, and it feels nice. You don't feel judged. You can talk about the things you want to talk about.
Sometimes I hide the sharp things from her, but that's just self-preservation.
I'm not gonna stab you. Stop it. That's just the thing. I feel like
with this face. Does this face look unserious to you? Does it?
You're a mess.
It should. I'm fucking lying to you.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Sister Nan.
Hey, Sister Nan. Hey, welcome to the chat.
Glad you're not dead. Wow.
Wow. I'm just kidding. The reason I've been more speaking schoolwork. That's okay.
Yeah.
Schoolwork is important. You don't want to end up out of school and dumb like me.
And then having energy, trust me, I understand that. You're not dumb.
Yeah, I'm pretty dumb.
Oh, stop.
I mean that as I am pretty and I am dumb. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, he's a mess. But my kid is doing a lot of...
Oh my god, it's Clark!
Wow.
Sorry.
My kid's doing a lot of online learning too, so I know how exhausting it can be. And like I said, we are constantly working on a few creative projects, so it has been busy.
Yeah.
But that's the cool thing about fantasy and fantasy writing, Even though our hopefully main hub will be sci-fi, because I've always been fascinated by science fiction. I don't want it to be my limit.
Yeah.
I think fiction in itself, you're your only limit.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me, had I read the works of Neil Gaiman, and I was like, yeah. Sandman the Dreaming was one of my favorite comic book series. I only got bits and pieces of it digitally because back in the day I was Team Broadcast and I really couldn't afford a lot of the comics that I wanted to buy. But, oh yeah. you definitely gotta pay attention to those exams.
Yeah.
But one of the things I loved was Death. As much as most people probably like Morbius because he was the Sandman, Death was just more interesting to me because to make the personification of Death a cute goth girl fascinated me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I just wish they would highlight
Yeah.
darker goth girls
I,
in stories
I just
too.
wish they would. Hey, Toxic, thank you for that host.
Hey, Toxic, thank
I'm
you.
sorry I missed the last one. I heard the alert go off, and then it didn't show up anywhere on my notification, so I didn't know what the heck was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the other thing. Like, they get stuck on the same tropes for stuff. Like, and I'm not saying go to the extent of we have sparkly vampires
Twilight.
like
Yeah.
Twilight, because that's not a vampire. That's a nightlight. That's not how that works. You have to stick somewhat to the mythos of what you're writing, but you can take some liberty with it. And you have people out there that have ideas that mess with that. They take something that has been written well and they just want to mess with it a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting for the current era.
Yeah.
And like the whole premise of Twilight wasn't a bad premise, a vampire in high school, but the whole look at me, I'm shiny. That's not how a vampire works.
Yeah,
That is
I just
not
can't.
like I looked it up. Nowhere did I see in any mythos anywhere that that's how that works. And like you can name it something else if you want, if you it's vampire like, but I wouldn't call it a vampire.
Yeah. And welcome to the chat, Toxic. But
Yeah, Toxic. It has been a while, man.
But yeah, that's the thing. There are plenty of fantasy books that do that, and we're talking about fantasy.
Yeah, we're just talking fantasy in general.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
And sorry, Toxic, the sound alerts, they may not be working. I had the error message on there earlier, and I'm not sure what's wrong with that. I didn't get a chance to fix it.
Yeah. But the thing is, even with stories like Twilight having the template of a vampire, going back to high school and stuff, and even the Lost Boys, where you see vampire clans interacting with humans, I feel like something wrong. Oh,
no, I'm just messing with it a little bit.
I feel like Hollywood.
Yeah, see, it gives me this.
Yeah, that's weird. Error.
Yeah, so I got a little error code, so I put it down so it wouldn't be on there, because wouldn't that be annoying?
Yeah.
It looks like we wrote on the ceiling. And we're not. We're dancing on the ceiling, but we're not writing on the ceiling. That's an old reference. I don't think any of our viewers are going to get that.
Maybe not. I mean, if they got Gen X parents, I'm sure they heard some lines.
Oh, what a feat. Fine.
I can't. I've lost track of thought. I really have. I legit forgot what I was talking about.
That is my favorite thing to do to
her.
her.
Oh my goodness. All right. Trying to get the topic back on the fantasy, maybe. The cool thing about watching certain animes, though, especially when they pull from mythological stuff, is to see different interpretations of it. And I think that Hollywood really needs to start investing in getting those stories retold. There are plenty. There's like a wealth of stories that could be written just from different mythos.
Mean, you can actually just take the mythos from, like, take Dracula, since we were talking about vampires. Take Dracula and, like, put that in modern times. And they kind of did that in some stories, but I don't think they really, like,
and like
hit it
we
to
have
a good degree.
Shows like What They Do in the Shadows, which is fun, and it's set in my hometown of Staten Island and stuff. But it's just like, once again, vampires done from a unique perspective.
Right.
Certain lack of melanin, and that just gives the perception that only a certain ethnicity can be vampiric, and it's like, no, that's not how that works.
No, it's basically a virus, and it can go into anybody that's susceptible to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I lost my train of thought just that quickly. What happened to you happened to me in like 2 seconds, and
Oh, good
at least
Lord.
you had the excuse that I distracted you. I had no excuse.
Your
I was
brain
I
is
was
like
mid sentence when that train jumped the
your
track and is off the
brain
bridge in the
is
harbor.
like the dog from Squirrel. But for real, I feel
Now I'm
like
thinking of Finding Nemo because I did that joke about the out of the tank, down the thing, off the track, across the street, and into the harbor.
wow. Even Finding Nemo had some good ocean lore in it. That's what I'm saying. Between that, Studio Ghibli stuff like Ponyo, which I watched that so much with Kiddo.
Yeah.
I know that movie by heart because of how much.
Yeah. Well, I just what I liked about the reincarnated as a slime thing. They took so much stuff and they added to it.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, that's how this would work if this actually worked that way.
Yeah.
And I love that.
And the thing is, isekai, as it's called, which is either reincarnation stories or stories where the characters pulled into a different world, video game, is really popular right now. And I wasn't down for it at first, and then I started reading a few mangas that had that. Not just the slime manga, but there's another one with demons that I didn't think I was gonna like either, and it's ended up pretty well written, and I'm waiting for the newest issue of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the concept isn't as crazy as it sounds.
No, and that's what I like when they can take something and give it to you real enough that it's just like, okay, yeah, I could see that actually working in a real situation where that was a thing.
I love how they realistically portray how a person would feel if they're pulled out of their world into a video game world as well. I am just like, I would be in mourning for a bit. You lose everything you love, everybody you know, and then your collectibles. It's been a good week, Sister Nad.
Yeah.
And thank you for the hydrate, Toxic.
I'm hydrated now.
We went to go get our first COVID shots, me and my son. So
I am H2O tolerant.
But
and don't you forget it.
What I liked about the whole idea, especially in I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, was how he made people happy just showing them how the regular Earth kept going on and the way Japan developed and how some stories even finished. When he gave Homeboy all those mangas, I was like, that would be me.
What I like about it was like how it snowballed from him just doing one good thing led to another good thing, led to another good thing, and it just you could see how just one person starting a trend like that just branches out until now they have a whole community, and these people that were suffering now don't have to suffer because they're all working toward a common goal.
Yep.
And that's good, Sis and Ed, that you tested negative. That's really good.
Thank goodness. And I just love the whole, there's a lot of underlying concepts that people that don't go through it probably didn't even think on. Like, if you've ever been picked on for being different, anybody who has watched this anime will side with the slime because we've all felt picked on. Whether it's our looks, whether it's our color, whether it's our station in life, but we just want to help people and do great things. And he never looks down on anybody. Anybody who wants to be his friend, okay, we're friends.
Even the people he fights in the show. No, it's just that's fine. We take moments out to we insert the conversation in our rants. That's what we do. I'm not voting this time. You can't make me.
I wasn't gonna. One of my favorite parts though was after he met the ogres and that one chick's cooking because best scene in that whole entire anime when he tells his champion to fight and he's like, well, if you win this fight, you'll get a weapon. And weapons are cool. We're gamers, new weapons. But if you lose, you have to eat homegirl's cooking.
I will destroy him.
Yes. Funniest line ever. Oh yeah, this Kirby all over the place.
There's a Kirby there, and let me get up.
Yep. I am a huge Kirby fan.
And then I got her this one.
I think I'm gonna get him a Link Cat.
Little 3D printed Kirby. He's got a flat bottom.
Yeah.
Normal Kirby doesn't have a flat bottom.
It's really well crafted though. But we are completely unapologetically geeky, And that's why we wanted to talk about fantasy this weekend, because that's the kind of stuff that keeps us interested. You wanted to buy a movie ticket, well, technically pay a subscription fee for
Yeah.
movies, or order up stuff, or have a room full of your stuff, put it out there. More than likely, if it's fantasy based, you're going to catch one or both of us with
Yeah.
it. Depending on how far out there it is. Because there are just some fantasies that you and I will go and we'll look by the title and it's like, man.
And then there's some fantasies, no. Stop it. Stop it. Shame on you.
Oh my goodness.
Shame.
But we love video games too. So when you see a story that combines both, that always is my jam.
And that's the thing, like, it's been over a year since I've been able to crack open a book and actually sit down and read, because with the COVID thing going on, it got in my head, and I could not separate myself from the situation. I couldn't relax enough to just enjoy a story that would take me out of the situation I was in into that world. And since I got that first vaccination shot, I feel a little bit more relaxed about it. I'm not as paranoid as what I was. I'm still concerned, but it is getting a little bit easier, because it's like, okay, you have some protection against this thing. The thing that makes me more nervous is the people that are just adamantly against it, and it's just like, I want to get to a point where I can actually open a book again and get lost in the pages of that, because that's better to me than any TV show.
Yeah.
When one of the authors I like to follow, Salvatore Sanderson, I'm blanking on his name, and he passed away last year. Oh my God, Terry Goodkind. Okay. When I want to get lost in one of their stories and they put out a new book, it's great, because it's like I get excited. I was like, oh boy, there's going to be something else that I can read, and it just pulls you right in. And to have a situation where you can't do that, it really affects you negatively.
And shameless gush, ever since Salvatore told me he likes my writing, I've just been over the moon.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he is still writing characters that he cares about. I love that he doesn't, like, I see a couple of his tweets, and he's just like, I'm going to keep writing as long as I got ideas. And
he's good at it.
Yeah, he's very good at it. He very pulls you right into the story. That's why I'm glad. I was working at Kmart, and I normally won't say where I work, because I don't want anything I say about the company to come back and bite me later.
Kmart's gone now, so
Kmart's gone, so I can say I worked at Kmart. But I was working at Kmart, and then a friend of mine was working up at the mall that we have in town, which is kind of just like a little strip mall. It wasn't what you would actually call a mall. Air quotes for them, because it's not a mall. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And I worked with an old boy there. His name was Tom, and he passed away several years ago. He was a good guy, though, and he got me into reading Salvatore. And I was just, I've read a couple of his books before, but I never actually sat down and read like the Legend of Grits and stuff like that. And oh my God, he got me started on that. It was like a crack addict. I bought it was like an overstocked bookstore. So we got all the overstock material from like the Barnes and Noble, what was another one that had books?
Borders.
Walden's.
Yeah.
Borders. All those bookstores that just like, well, we can't sell these, so they ship them off to other stores to be sold at like $5 or $10 a pop. And we got just a huge run of Salvatore books in, and I was just like, no, we didn't. These are for me. And I would buy every new one that came in, and that's how I got like most of my collection of his books, was just them coming into that store, and I don't regret it a bit.
I don't blame you. And see, with me, my favorite authors are quite classic
characters. A lot of arms and feet that can morph into anything.
Yeah. He's definitely
it's
one
cute.
of the...
They actually did a video on Kirby where how durable he actually is, and he can actually beat Majin Buu from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Looking at all the stuff that they did, and he actually like sucked him in and got the little antenna and was turning his friends into chocolate to eat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, it's Kirby.
That one of my favorite authors is Neil Gaiman again, because of how he weaves mythology too.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we were talking about the other day was why I at first was going to get into American Gods, but then I said no. And that's the problem that I see with diverse fantasy in Hollywood too. You have too many people who don't understand the concepts that are being portrayed. And after y'all let Orlando Jones go as Mr. Nancy, you can't interest me. You can't talk for people you don't represent. And the guy who made that call had the audacity to utter that Mr. Nazi is too angry and black people don't want that right now. If you've been around these last few years, you would know that anger is the least thing you could portray us and be on board and 100%.
Yeah.
You know, because between sadness and anger, that's all I had been feeling the last few years. So watching the clips of him playing Mr. Nancy really fired me up to watch it, only to find out that homeboy got let go because some guy from Canada, of all places, I'm not from Canada. Some of my favorite shows are from Canada.
I'll do that.
You
That's
stop
my
that.
job.
You stop that. Some of my favorite shows have been from Canada, but to have some guy that isn't even from this country talk about how black people would feel being represented in a show about fiction and about some of our cultural deities, it's just like, you know what? We need less of that and more writers that understand that even if I don't understand this, this is going to speak to somebody who doesn't look like me, act like me, worship like me, but it'll resonate.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, and that's the thing that ticks me off about it. Nobody on the show, not people that directed, people that were in charge of the show, thought he did a bad job, and it still got him to lose his job. Neil Gaiman said, "I like what he does with the character. He embodies the character, and he does that with every role he's ever been in. You watch him in a movie and tell me he isn't terrifying, hilarious, all great actor.
Yeah.
And some asshat got him kicked off of something that we could have enjoyed watching, and now we can't.
And that's the thing. I just feel like if they're going to keep doing fantasy, especially fantasy as diverse as American Gods is supposed to be, or any kind of fantasy where you have a multi ethnic cast, you're going to have to be mindful and have writers that understand the situation. And you can't have that with dudes that are not even culturally tied to what they're writing about.
And unfortunately, I mean, you can't have writers that write characters no matter what their ethnicity.
Yeah.
Male, female, black, white. You can have somebody write for anybody if they can understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But the best person to tell you where they're coming from
is the person that went through
is
it.
the person that you're going to be writing about. So if you're going to have like your stories that you want to write, she is the best person to write that. I cannot write that. She can write that. She can't tell me about the stuff she goes through, and I actually understand it to the level that she does to put that kind of emotion and feeling into it. So, while yeah, you can have that happen if you find somebody that's empathic enough that they can pick up on that, but more often than not, go to that person.
Yeah. Like
that's going to be the person that you want to tell that story.
One of the main reasons we created the story Axiom was because I wanted sci-fi where women that look like me aren't just the side character or the muscle or any of those tropes that we fall into. Like I love Lieutenant Uhura, but she was a background character in Star Trek for way too long before the movies. And it was like, you know what? She's a very important part of the crew. And I like that the newer movies brought that out, but we had years where she really was just in the background. And I just wanted to do sci-fi where, like, Ikora in Destiny is a main character. You care about what happens to her. She shapes what happens to the story.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show that black women have dualities to us. We're not just one or the other, and depending on our situations, how we were raised, who were around us, we tend to take in and put out what we've been exposed to.
Yeah.
And when creating a sci-fi story where your main character is a woman of color, I want people to see that there are different ways that we present ourselves. I'm just tired of the same tropes that black women seem to fall in entertainment,
Yeah.
you know? And Ikora is another reason why I wanted to do that, because she's the reason why I still play Destiny. Seeing a woman of color as a powerful warlock just did it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Her voice actress is one of my favorites. The new one is still good as well.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, the new one
it.
is good enough. I didn't pick up on it.
I did, but that's just my.
But like she is way more.
I'm weird with sounds.
Into sound, and she can pick up on stuff more than I can. I had to get above the logo.
Yeah.
But yeah, that and Kate too. They switched him on me, and I didn't pick it up either. And I was just like, that was a smooth transition. I don't know why you guys killed the character off. You had someone that could do the voice.
They really need to. Well, it won't be him. So,
but yes, I did know that because I think the official, like, we all call Kirby him.
Yeah.
But they have not actually said whether Kirby is a boy or a girl or a man or a woman or just what on there. Or just a non-binary
you can just
character.
Call them they or them sometimes too. I mean, I never really thought of Kirby as having a gender though.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's the thing. It's like you don't like. I believe the actual thing is he's the last of the Starfighters.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the Starfighters are his race or if that's just the title he has.
Yeah.
But you don't see any other Kirbys other than what he duplicates himself to be.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, you know.
I think he is just the default that you use for most like monsters or video game characters, unless they are it specifically says I'm female or I identify as this. I've never really thought about Kirby's gender though.
Yeah, I don't think I know they had the animated show, but I don't believe they actually did that. I think they always referred to him as Kirby. They kept it so that they wouldn't have to use any kind of descriptive pronouns.
Yeah.
And they may have actually done that, and it's.
And like, I know for some people,
know where Kirby went?
Yeah.
You know?
I know for some people in our country, it's like, well, the pink, and it's like in Asia and in some parts of Europe, men wear pink too. So that's never like been a thing where somebody can be pink. And,
I think that's the great thing about Kirby is anybody can identify with Kirby.
Yeah.
You're gonna identify. You're gonna assign a role to Kirby that is you, and that's fine because there's no rule saying you can't.
Fighter, magic user, he's
just like the big reveal with Samus. Yeah. At the end of the Metroid games, everybody thought Samus was a guy
because of the armor.
Because of the armor and everything, and then at the end of the game, you find out Samus is a woman, and it's like I support it. Yeah. I love strong women. Exactly. I'm dating a strong woman. I support that.
Well, it's like I said a few.
As long as she doesn't hit you.
I said a few.
You just hit me, it's over.
I don't hit. I said a few episodes ago. For real, when we had that talk, and I got upset at those guys, I was like, "Well, I wouldn't base my playing of a video game or watch something based on not seeing something that looks at me." Representation matters. Mm-hmm. And having female characters or non-binary characters or characters that don't look like me, it's always been the default for me.
Yeah.
So I really want people who are used to seeing themselves to get used to seeing characters that don't look like them, but hear the stories.
Yeah.
There are so many good stories out there that people are being denied because Hollywood doesn't think, oh, well, a kid in the Midwest isn't going to want to see Wakanda. That got proven wrong.
Yeah, I want to see Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that. I actually hope that that's a real thing. And then once all the COVID idiots have died off, they're just like, hey, you guys want to come in now? All the idiots have killed themselves. Because that was the greatest thing I've seen Marvel do.
But that's been a bad mindset in entertainment for far too long. MTV did that for a while too. Before we got like Yo MTV Raps and they started to really diversify the videos, David Bowie was one of the people that spoke up about it too. That you're not seeing the diversity in music that should be. And this was a major television station at the time. And it takes more people just speaking up. I know Axiom says that, he can't write it, but he can use his voice to help me amplify it. And that's the good thing about our partnership. It's not, hey, I want to speak for you. Hey, I want to help get your voice out there so that we can tell this story.
Yeah, and that's just when I say that I can't speak for you, as like I basically I'm not saying that I can't sympathize, and that I can't understand where she's coming from. I can't. I have that ability. But if you were to tell me to write a story about her life for her, there's no way I can do that because the only person that lives your life is you.
Well, you could. It just wouldn't. It would be from the perspective of somebody
Right.
guesstimating.
Right, but how can
I
like
feel like, while I understand what you're saying,
yeah.
the thing is, there's a lot of white authors right now that are going through that, and some that just fly out say, "This is why we don't make diverse writing, because we don't want to offend, or we can't understand your perspective." And if you're a writer and you're not challenging yourself to try, that why are you writing?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's not possible. That's why I said it is possible for some to do it. I'm just saying for me, I would have to really, really welcome back, Cincinnati. I would have to really, really get into the character and learn as much as I could about it to put myself in that situation.
Yeah, because I mean, you helped me develop Kayla's character in Axiom. We've worked together on our Merry Band of Misfits plans for a while now, and all of those characters are our own creation, and you brought out a lot of my personality with those characters. So it's not that you don't understand them. I just think that
I just always take the thing that the best person to tell your story is you.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, you could tell your story to somebody else that is better with words.
But I mean, I look at Salvatore when
but
he wrote Artemis and Terry's girlfriend. I don't know if a lot of people know a lot about her character, but she is a black woman. From every description he's made of her, every rendition I've seen of her, and she's gone through some things, but she is an amazing character. I love her story.
You updated because it was
She's a brown drow. She's not really a dark elf. She was like Char's.
Well, he must have changed it because I thought it was Delilah.
No, that she was the girl that dated Dritz too.
Yeah, but that was a regular elf.
Brown skin.
I'm gonna have to. We'll look it up.
And I was just like, finally, because they do exist. They there's a sect of Shar worshippers that they were persecuted by the Drow because Drow trying to say they impersonate in them, and then like, no, we just happen to have brown skin and dark features too, and there's a whole cosmos of
sure, that. Have what you need.
What's the favor?
Well, it depends on the favor, actually. I like to think how life would be without electricity, the internet, house, etc. Basically, back to the Caitlin area, and I would like you to say what you would do to survive and what you would do as entertainment. So basically, everything's still as it is now, but none of the conveniences that we've become accustomed to work.
He would be screwed.
Yeah. Oh, geez. I would not be screwed. I would be like most people, and I think this is going to be true for 95% of the people. No, actually, I'm gonna down that a little bit because I know some people that are attached to their phones. I'm gonna say 65%. I think that's better. There would be a culture shock at first. Nothing works except for what charge you have in it. Now, well, let me ask you that, Cincinnati. Does the stuff still work, or just once it's done charging, that's it?
No, do we have no electricity?
Do we have? Yeah, but it's like if my phone is fully charged, I'm gonna have a working phone for as long as that charge lasts.
Yeah.
Everything's just gone. Like it poof, that doesn't even not even there anymore.
Well,
if that's the case, then yeah, there's going to be a shock to the system of everybody because everybody's going to go through tech withdrawal.
The tech withdrawal, yeah, but there are some of us who are old enough
Yeah,
That's why I love being Gen
you wake up
X,
on some leaves in a jungle. Oh, I would be dead within the first 24 hours.
where I honestly would, and that's why I was gonna go into that. My family was military and wanted us to learn survival training.
And
So
that,
I know how to camp, I know how to hunt, I know how to sew. I could sew up. He looked at me like I was crazy the other night when I talked about how you can suture your own wounds, but that's
and I
stuff
told
we
her
were.
to stay away from me. I'll take my chances with the gangrene.
Wow. That's stuff we were drilled in as kids because my family thought there was going to be like some weird ass fallout meltdown,
But didn't you
you
also look at me
know?
and say when I said that you were just like it only hurts till the pain stops, and I was just like, think about what you just said to me. I try to avoid pain at all possible
Yeah,
costs.
but you don't want to bleed out, so it's better to sew up a wound. But
Brian,
anyhow,
thank you.
hey
Oompa Loompa
Brian,
doobity doo.
hey, welcome to the chat. But for real, I feel like in that scenario, based on how what's around me, we'll be fine because I'm gonna take care of you no matter what. But
She
I'll
says that.
probably be doing all the like hands-on stuff because I don't get squeamish on that stuff, you know.
Doopity doo, loompa loompa.
Hey,
But yeah,
sweetie.
you would have. I think a lot of people, a lot of, not speaking, for myself now, but a lot of people would be screwed because they're going to go through tech withdrawal and they have no idea how to survive because there's no app for that. And a lot of people's survival instinct is completely gone. Like, hey, I need to make a house. I need to water, fire. Those survivalists, those guys are going to do really, really well.
Up until 4 years ago, I was planting my own vegetables and stuff
Yeah,
too. So
like I said, Cal's gonna do well. I was like, I will do well to a point, but there's gonna be a part where I start second guessing myself on everything I do, and that's gonna be probably the thing that takes me out. Is hey, I should do this, but maybe I should stay here, but maybe I should go over there, but maybe I should do this, and then the next thing you know, I don't have enough energy to move anymore. But yeah, a lot of people can't just Uber Eats a house, right? And Uber's not going to work because it's all gone. If we're just like all of a sudden you wake up and the houses are gone, everything, the Earth is back as it was before we actually got here. There is a lot of stuff that is not afraid of people.
yeah,
There are people that like they go on these excursions into the jungle and there are animals in there that have no fear of humans because humans haven't been there and they just like, hey, look, something that maybe I'll eat later,
yeah.
maybe I'll leave alone.
And Cincinnati, I get your sentiment definitely. I don't know if it was actually better days for humans back then because everything was scary to a human. They didn't have information or understanding. So it would be scary to go back to those times where we couldn't readily communicate.
Straight to
I
cannibalism.
feel like,
No, stay away from Doug. Doug is going to go straight to cannibalism.
yeah.
If Doug invites you out, if the world ends tomorrow and you get an invite from Doug to go to his house for dinner, don't go.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Okay?
But I feel like the world, human wise, isn't in a good place at times, but we're getting better slowly because there's more of us that realize that we need to respect the planet that
the
we're on. The technology is starting to get
and
better,
that's
and
the bad thing.
yeah,
It's not, and I say this with all understanding of what I say is about to be the dumbest thing I've ever said. Humans aren't really all that bad, and technology isn't really all that bad. It's what we do with the technology that makes us look like idiots.
mm-hmm.
We have social media, which is probably the worst thing that ever got invented.
I like it as an introvert. I don't like dealing with people face to
It
face.
could have been a good thing, but it's not because somebody has a harebrained idea. They type it up, they send it out. Somebody else looks at that and says, that's not a bad idea. And then they send it out, and then before you know it, you've got somebody else on the other side of the world that goes, is that really true? And then they Google it, and it's become a fact.
It's not a fact. It's just a rumor that
No,
people
but
spread.
they deal with it like it's a fact.
Yeah.
And then that's the problem. You can't. Dumb ideas can travel so much faster now than what they could 20 years ago that you can't squash a dumb idea before it becomes a dumb fact for somebody.
That's why we need to start pushing knowledge.
We
When
need
it
to
brings up tech,
police the internet.
see, and that's the problem. A lot of people have way too many totalitarian leans.
I just like to push the buttons to see
Like,
what she does.
anytime you say police, I get tense. But the whole idea of the way we even pursue knowledge as humans makes my head hurt.
Eat all the Karens
Because
and the flat earthers first. That's a good idea. Do you
uh,
believe the earth is flat or
I
the
don't
earth
think
is round?
I don't
I
think they
believe
would
the earth
taste
is
good.
flat. Let me talk to your manager. We got a twofer here. It's a Karen and a flat earther.
Oh my goodness. I said my issue with global education is that they pit humans against each other.
Yeah.
I have always been against the way we educate each other as a society because it doesn't make people interested in learning. And learning is fun. I learn more now as an adult, taking in different documentaries and reading and pulling in facts that are actually verifiable facts on my own at my own leisure than I ever did sitting in the classroom competing against 30 other students.
Yeah. And I agree with you on that. That is the worst thing, that our education system is horrible. I got passed through probably the worst education system uh, that I could have been passed through. I knew nothing. She has taught me more than my entirety of school. There is things that she has said that if I would have been told that when I was a kid, I would have gotten it and been further ahead than what I was. But no, I was just a nine to go sit down and we'll get to you later, and then later never comes, and then you don't learn anything. But yeah, Cincinnati's right on that. Yeah, you won't eat a cockroach because it's a bug and disgusting, but it's actually a really good source of protein. Yeah, exactly. And I would starve because I'm not looking at a cockroach going, look, a snack. I'm looking at a cockroach going, I'm so hungry.
Oh my God.
I want a burger.
That's the thing. I feel like even stuff like that, Cincinnati, because of the way society has raised itself to look down on certain things and not allow people to just learn likes and dislikes based on their own thing, we got a lot of work to do for our species. We really do.
And the first thing really needs to happen is we need to stop with, like you said, it's not us versus them.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing that we ever let them do to us. And by them, I mean the people that are actually benefiting from this situation. I can't even say people in charge anymore because there are people in charge trying to stop that. But we have run with the us versus them that even when the people that started it, they can't stop it now. And they want to stop it, but they don't know how because they created a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you've got so many people that are just so vehemently opposed to the other side, they'll never stop hating that other side. And you have the same thing on that side. Those people will not stop hating those people. It needs to stop. Hatred just gets more hatred. It's not fun hatred like the Hulk. The Hulk is fun hatred.
Mm-hmm.
This is just.
It don't have any rhyme.
It doesn't. It doesn't. There's nothing good at the end of that hate rainbow.
There's no benefit.
There's no benefit to humanity. All you're going to end up with a lot of dead people, and who's going to care about it?
Yep. So it's just like we're currently making footnotes in history, whether people realize that or not. Just living through these times, we are living history. Mm-hmm. And I just wish more people would understand that even if we went back to a non-technological time, which I don't see happening because technology exploded, mm-hmm. You realize that for Axiom and I, probably Brian and them, we remember a time that phones were huge. Not every house had a TV. Mm-hmm. There was no internet for a while.
Your phone was this big, but that was just the receiver part.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a computer. You couldn't just look stuff up on it or nothing like that. We didn't
have a digital wave when we were kids. Our video games were 8-bit. So
I did have the idea for wireless headphones when I was like 6, though.
Nice.
Yeah. I had any kind of engineering at all, whatever, I could have been a millionaire.
You could have been
I
the
had
first boss.
I had the thought for Bluetooth headphones before Bluetooth was a thing.
And that's the thing. We seen a real technical revolution.
And
The
the
only
punch
thing,
transfer.
the only thing that pisses me off is we were promised it was gonna be like the Jetsons right now, and I don't
Yeah.
see it.
Where's my flying car?
Where's my Sky City?
Where's my one pill that I have to take in the morning for breakfast? So that's my 3-course meal.
Where's Rosie? I'm tired of cleaning.
You won't let me have a Rosie.
Nah, yeah, I won't let you have a Rosie.
Yeah.
That would cause us all kinds of problems. No, thank you.
Karl Marx. You are going to the Phantom Zone. Goodbye, Karl.
Yep.
You will not be missed.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I feel like humanity is going to move towards, especially with a digital revolution, a techno revolution, and I feel like with the experiments that Elon Musk is even messing with,
I kind of think we're going to end up in the Matrix.
I don't know if it's going to be the Matrix. I feel like it's going to be more the concept that we came up with for our book. There's going to be a hybrid fusion of biotechnology.
Make them buy the book.
Oh, okay.
That was supposed to be funny. I don't know if it landed or not. I can't hear you guys laughing.
I can't.
I mean, I hear laughter in my head, but I think that's another thing.
You're a mess.
I think it's time for my pills.
I feel like, we're getting to a point where we're either going to have to merge or it's going to leave us behind. And we'll have robot overlords.
I kind of think it might be like the Will Smith movie where the robots tried to kill everybody. iRobot?
iRobot?
Yeah. I think it was going to be more like that.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna create an artificial intelligence, and we'll be like, good. No, we don't have to think anymore.
No Skynet. No Skynet.
We don't have to think about nothing anymore, and it's just gonna take over, and that's it. Yeah, like.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, there's another bot. It's Cincinnati live. Oh my god, he's impersonating one of our friends. Hang on, I will ban him. I'm kidding.
But yeah, I like I said, I just like the fact that even with being in the fantasy and writing fantasy like we do, that we can see where certain things from fantasy is pulled from real life and where we humans are potentially going, you know? Even though we haven't really taken a good care of this planet, we are looking towards Mars and other planets to not only investigate or get to.
Let's screw that one up too.
Yeah, I know. But it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
For some reason, some people have that urge to go forth and conquer, and they can't really do it here anymore. So that's going to be the next.
Does anybody else really want to all these really rich people? It's like, oh, I would love to go to Mars. Want to put them on a rocket to Mars and be like, good, now we can get some crap done here.
Yeah. Send them out. Let the rest of us just take over.
All right.
Get rid of all these stupid social structural systems and actually work together. And then when they try to come back, nope, sorry. Yeah. United Federation of Earth said,
sorry, we put a shield around the Earth to keep you guys out.
Exactly.
What did you do? Well, we started listening to more of the scientists, and we got together and we realized we're really not all that different. So we just kind of decided to let everybody believe what they want to believe, and we're not going to argue about it anymore. And stuff really took off after that. We got a space fleet. We've actually been to Pluto. We waved to you when we passed you in Mars, but you guys were too busy. I don't know what you were doing.
Probably still fighting each other over space diamonds or whatnot.
I think you were arguing about masks and COVID, and that was 20 years ago. You guys really got to learn how to let things go.
Yeah. That was a good Patrick Walton. Well, we're gonna
what voice did I just do?
You didn't even know? You sounded like...
What part of poorly educated did you not get?
Oh my gosh. It sounded like Patrick Walton, Detect, Joe from...
Oh, okay, Patrick Walbert.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't understand the name the way you said it.
Oh my goodness, you're a mess.
I do this all the time. You guys are seeing that on camera. I do this to her 24/7.
24/7.
24/7. She should have an indentation of where.
But we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. It has been a fun hour of talking fantasy and stuff. We will be back tomorrow for our live Dungeons and Dragons
She
stream.
will be.
Yeah, that's just 4 hours of going through
I'll be
dungeons.
modding off and on.
Yeah. On Monday, we will be back for Mario Mondays on Axian's channel. If you have a code or levels you want to,
Sure, now I gotta type it in there because you gotta mention it.
well, I figured people might have levels they want to share in the Discord. We also have YouTube channels,
Zooey, thank you,
y'all.
Zooey.
Thank you so
Look at
much,
Zooey. Look at that. Hey,
You are an MVP
you
for
guy.
real. And for real, we really appreciate all the love and support you've been giving our channel, watching these casts and sharing it with
I beat
people.
you on the YouTube, but
Yeah.
you did not know what I was doing, Zooey. I beat you that time.
And then Monday, I have a special stream after his stream. We're gonna highlight.
Oh, you can do it. Like, can we? We'll test it out
We'll
tomorrow.
test it out.
I might do a stream tomorrow just to see if we can both stream at the same time. There's not one for Twitch.
There's a reason why I was gonna do it after your stream anyway, because kiddo has school.
Oh, okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So it'll be Monday afternoon. I'm gonna be on the live server for DDL. They gave invites to streamers to highlight a new feature in the game. So I'm excited about that. What's that?
Where's my ice cream? I didn't get an invite.
You don't play DDL.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
I want my invite. I'm not gonna play. I just want an invite.
So no, then you don't get one. Good lord. Yikes.
No Instagram either. I don't know what an Instagram is.
I've had people tell me that I need one. I don't want to remember the passwords to them. I'm old. I don't want to deal with all that. Right. It's bad enough remembering the stuff that I already have to log into most days.
All right. I barely and it's bad because I got on TikTok earlier. I lost 3 hours. I legit went to the front room. I was like, I'm gonna play some Zelda while Cal's working on her thing and everything like that. And I sat down. I booted up. I was like, you know what? I'll watch a TikTok video or two while I'm waiting here. I didn't get past that step. I looked at my phone and realized I got in here at 1 o'clock. It's almost 4:30. I've been scrolling through TikTok for 3.5 hours.
I've avoided TikTok like the plague.
I gotta stop doing this.
Done. I will not get any of my story ideas or anything done if I get on that site. So yeah. I've been a good girl.
I gave Brian a new theme song.
Yeah.
This is why I moved away from TikTok. It's bad. And don't get into it before, don't think, I'll look at a couple TikTok videos before I go to sleep. No, you ain't gonna sleep. You're gonna look outside and be like, wow, it's daylight. I gotta go to work. And move to YouTube Shorts, yes.
Yeah.
I do have some shorter videos. I've started editing down my Mario Monday streams because I was just copy paste to YouTube. So I've started to edit those down to about 15, 20-minute videos.
Yeah.
And I've got a new one that's going to go up. I think I'm going to start just doing it on Monday.
Yeah.
I wait till Wednesday. I think I'll just do it on Monday.
Yeah, just do it when you feel.
I got a troll level that I edited that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You get to see me lose my mind.
And as always,
not that I really had one to begin with.
We don't have a set time format for these casts. We'll go an hour or over, depending on the topic, and we just want to have fun.
I'm just stretching it out to see how long she'll let me before she just grits the mouse and clicks.
I'm not gonna just get the mouse and click, but we really do appreciate all of y'all's support, and we will be back tomorrow and Monday, and all throughout the week, probably.
Yep. Tomorrow, Monday,
Wednesday,
and then Wednesday and Friday. Yep. And I'll keep you guys updated on Twitter when I put a new video out on YouTube. Yep.
And my Twitter will be updates about the story we're working on, so you just can keep an eye out for that.
I don't have your Twitter on the thing.
Oh, don't worry about that. Most of the people, if they don't follow me, then I ain't worried about it.
Of course, when I follow someone, it's called stalking, and I need to respect the restraining order.
Y'all, we're rubbing the temples again. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching.
They look at you and they say it's not advice, it's the law.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have a Twitch? Yes, Cincinnati, she does have a Twitch. It's a little bit more serious than what mine is.
Yeah.
But there is the link to Cal's Twitch account, and she does do her DDO streams on Sunday. She does her Bonnet Chronicles on Friday, and those are very serious topics that she wants to talk about. So
Yeah,
just
politics and social issues.
yeah,
So
so always be
that's not your
respectful of the
jam.
topic,
You don't have to sit through
because I will ban you.
it.
I look forward to having my mod powers.
And then once Dragon's Age 4 comes out, I will be streaming that more.
Yeah,
too.
she'll be doing some more gaming, lighter stuff when that comes out, but she's been waiting for that for a while now.
8 years.
She's chomping at the bit.
8 years.
Seriously, there's a bit back there. She chomps on it. Like, when am I gonna get this?
Why?
Because I have an audience.
Oh my goodness.
You gave me a format and you expect me not to perform. And perform I will.
Okay there, Shatner. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was getting ready to do more Shatner voices.
Oh my goodness. The way you looked at me though.
I wasn't
like,
offended. I was like, that is the greatest compliment you could have given me.
I can't know. I think you're trying to break me.
To be compared to the legend himself. No compliment could go further to honor me.
Oi, oi.
That's not really bad Shatner. That's kind of an Ace Ventura Shatner.
Yeah.
Who made your little Genxcynics thingy in the middle bottom? Cal did.
I did.
Cal made the little Genxcynics thingy.
I
What did
like-
you make that off of?
I used the old Bit Strips comic creator.
Yeah.
And I designed a bunch of characters, and I was like, let's do a little mini Tin and Greg.
Yep.
And that was years ago before he started with his beard.
Before I started doing this.
Because I used to do a little comic strip
Ow.
that. Oh my goodness.
It didn't really hurt.
Okay. I used to do a comic strip based on our customer service stories. That was just fun.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll start sharing more of those if you guys want during like Mario Mondays or Zelda Wednesdays too. If you want, I got a ton of them.
Oh,
I was just sitting out. I went out and mowed the lawn today, and I was just sitting there thinking about weird stuff that I could do. I might even do TikTok videos like that.
Yeah.
Just be like, "Excuse me, sir, can you help me?" No, I can't. No one can help you. What? I've never, and you never will. We're gonna go now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've gone past the point of appropriate.
This is the point in the anime where the girlfriend's aura is completely menacing.
What is your opinion on rhyme games? I don't mind them. I don't play as many of them as what I would like.
I tried Five Nights at Freddy's because of Kiddo. It wasn't a bad game.
Yeah.
I don't get the horror like everybody else. Jump scares never really scared me
Yeah.
because of my mental health thing. So
Oh,
like,
not FNF. It's
Five Night Funkin'.
Five Night
Never
Funkin'.
heard of that. Hey, Beth.
Bet. Hey, good timing, Bet. We're just getting ready to leave. Where were you? We sit here. We waited. We've been on for like an hour and a half, Bet. And you show up now. I'm all riled up. I'm ready to go. It's funny. She can't stand it anymore, but I'm still ready to fight. And you show up now, an hour and a half late. You're getting your wishes, so sit down.
Oh my goodness. Yikes. Five Nights at Funkin' though. That sounds like something Charlie might have played.
I'm not sure. Like I said, I like rhythm games because I tried that. What was that one they did with Hyrule on the Switch? It was all rhythm based. You had to move to the rhythm. You had to attack to the rhythm. I think it's a great thing. They used to have. I think one of the first ones I've seen like that was product number 3 for the GameCube, where you had to move in the beat for the sound that came on there, so to get your attacks the thing out. I think they're a great premise, but I think they need to put more. And this is the problem I think they're going to have with it. They need to put better music into it.
Yeah.
Because Cal and I like to watch or listen to music while we play shooters.
Yeah.
You get into the give her Cyndi Lauper and a sniper rifle, and there's not going to be anything alive
Headshots.
by the time you get there. But they have that stupid, what is it,
That DMCA.
DMCA that stops people from using music during their streams or putting music into games. Excuse me. And I think that really limits what you can do with something, and it takes the enjoyment factor out of it.
Yeah, I've started playing now with earbuds in my ear, under my headphones so that I can still hear my crew when we do dungeon stuff. But I like playing the music.
Yeah.
It helps me concentrate. It makes it more fun, and I can't stand the fact that people like, well, if you use this music, you can get sued. They've taken all the fun out of live streaming.
But they've done that with a lot of stuff. Because I used to remember I bought season 1 of the old Mario Brothers cartoons. I used to love watching that. I used to go over to my grandma's house because she had satellite, and I would watch Pup Named Scooby Doo, Super Mario Brothers, Super Show, Legend of Zelda, Captain N, whatever I could watch cartoon wise and I could get. I would watch it. And there was one of the episodes was the one where they were on a magic carpet, and they used Magic Carpet Ride by
I know who sings
Yeah,
it.
now you're drawing a blank too, aren't you?
Yeah.
The
I
stupid is catching. It's
Oh.
sucking the knowledge out of your head.
Okay, focus on sir.
Anyway, in the DVD release of it, they got rid of that and they just did the Super Mario Brothers theme. And I was like, that's not the song that plays. And I watched a couple more episodes, and anytime they had a song that they had the rights to use in the original broadcast, they didn't have the rights to use it on the DVD release. And I was like,
they did the same in Daria, and it kills me because if you watch the telecast of Daria on TV right now, they leave those songs in.
Yeah.
But I bought the DVD thinking I was going to get the whole show, and no, they took a lot of that music out.
Yeah. I've heard that you download and delete VODs. You can play DMCA music. That's good to try also afterwards.
Yeah. I haven't, they haven't dinged me since I started just listening to earbuds.
Yeah.
But I used to get warnings all the time that they were going to mute my video.
And here's the thing. I think what Twitch, YouTube, and all these places that are doing that, because I had a video dinged on YouTube because I had Stan Bush's You Got the Touch just as a soundbite.
Yep.
And someone reported it. And I was just like, I'm not claiming that it's mine. It's a sound alert that I put on to make my stream a little bit more fun. And I'm getting dinged by it. I think what they should do is just, you can play whatever music you want to play on there as long as you're not claiming it as your own. As long as there's no part in that video where I sit there and I go, hey guys, you want to hear a new song I just wrote? And I play it in the background like I'm trying to take credit for it, shouldn't qualify me for a disqualification.
Yeah.
Because that's free advertisement for the band.
Yeah.
You would think that they would want their stuff out there.
And the fact that people listen to music while they're gaming, I would think would be like, oh, I haven't heard that song in a while. Let me go pay to download it. Because I bought all the music that I listen to, especially my Gaiman playlist, I bought off the Google Play Store when they used to sell music. Mm-hmm. Now they don't, because obviously they couldn't milk people for enough money from it. But now that they're YouTube music, it doesn't make sense that I can't play YouTube music while streaming and a Twitch and YouTube.
Well, it's like all the Dragon Ball Abridged stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
They have a disclaimer right on there. This is not official. Support the official release, and they give credit to the creator.
Yeah.
That's acceptable. Why can't we all just take that and apply it to everything we do? But we can't, because then they're like, well, you can't do that. That's a copyright strike. And that video is still under review.
Wow.
It's been almost a month.
They reviewed the one that they dinged us for using the Space Silverhawks theme.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We were reviewing a remake of a show. What?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot going on with people reporting stuff, too, that these companies really need to look out for as well, because they're abusing your tools.
An hour and a half late, Bet. We waited for you for an hour and a half, and you didn't show up. We had the whole cast. We had to spitball. We had to come up with topics that didn't make sense to come out here, and for you to come up late and start thinking that you could take part of this conversation like a normal person.
Are you done with the tangent, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I just thought it would be funny. Bet's enjoying it.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, we are going to get ready to wrap it up, because I don't know if you heard it, but I heard Teenager pacing back and forth.
Oh, he must want food.
Yeah.
Feed me, Seymour.
But thank you all for tuning in, and once again, y'all's watching and support has been awesome.
Yes, and thank you. This will be up on YouTube.
3 more hours. He would do it.
Wrap it up. I demand 3 more hours of entertainment. Hey, you know what? No, I cannot go for another 3 hours.
He gets
I am
angry.
starting to get hungry in my tum tum. I want to eat food in the tum tum. Later, it come out the bum bum.
Oh Lord, no, stop. That's enough.
We have no idea yet. That's why we want to get out of here, Ben. You're stopping. You're spoiling all our food. I'm not going to edit any of this rant out either. I'm just going to leave it in. I'm going to put the whole video right up on YouTube just like this, so people can get your aspirations. That veins starting to throb kind of nicely there. Who needs food? If we keep chatting, you can't leave. Yes, we can, because I'll do this.